What would you do if someone faked a medical emergency to destroy the one celebration meant to honor your survival? I turned 40 on a Wednesday in March, and honestly, I thought the day would pass like any other. After the year I'd had, keeping my head down felt safer than expecting anything special. What I didn't know was that my wife Charlotte had been planning something extraordinary for 3 months, something that would either become the most memorable night of my life or the beginning of a family reckoning that was 2 decades overdue. Let me back up a bit. My name is Liam Foster, and I'm what you'd call a classic middle child. Older brother Julian got all the academic glory, became a lawyer, married well, had 2 perfect kids who played violin. Younger sister Hazel was the creative one, the free spirit, the one who could do no wrong even when she dropped out of college to backpack through Southeast Asia for a year. And then there was me, steady, reliable, forgettable Liam, who worked in marketing for 15 years at the same pharmaceutical company until they decided to restructure last April. The layoff hit me harder than I want to admit. Not just financially, though that was brutal enough. It was the identity crisis, the sudden realization that I'd spent my entire adult life being moderately successful at something I didn't particularly love, and now I didn't even have that. I sank into a depression that lasted months. Charlotte held everything together while I could barely get out of bed some days. She worked extra shifts at the hospital, managed our 2 teenagers, and somehow never made me feel like the failure I knew I was. By January, I'd finally clawed my way back. Started therapy, got on medication that actually worked, landed a new job that paid slightly less but felt more meaningful. I was functional again, present again, and our marriage was slowly recovering from the strain. So when Charlotte suggested we do something low-key for my 40th, maybe dinner at our favorite Italian place, I agreed without much thought. What I didn't know was that she'd been saving money since November. Not for a dinner, but for a party. A real party with a guest list and a venue and a band. She'd coordinated with Julian and Hazel, tracked down old friends I'd lost touch with during my dark months, even convinced my grandmother Iris to fly in from Dublin. Grandmother Iris was 80 years old and hadn't traveled internationally in 5 years, but Charlotte somehow persuaded her that this was important, that her middle grandchild needed to know he mattered. The venue was the Riverside Event Hall, a gorgeous renovated warehouse space downtown with exposed brick and string lights and floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the water. Charlotte had put down $3,500, non-refundable, which I only learned later. She'd booked a band called the Wayward Sons for $1,200, a local group that played the classic rock I loved. She'd arranged for catering from the Mediterranean place where we had our wedding reception. 60 people had RSVP'd. It was supposed to be perfect.